we are here minus Brian. So that means we are going to do an Epi.1.
Yes.
And we've decided what we're going to do. We made us a little list. It's
We
a
got
little
the pickle wheel back.
Yeah, it's a little list. I mean, we got more stuff we'll do later, but we are going to use the pickle wheel. And the pickle wheel is going to be very pickly, and it's going to relish us in what we should watch.
Relish us, nice.
Yes, so now go ahead and go to boom, there's our picker wheel.
There it is in all of its glory.
Alright, are we ready to roll?
Let's go.
Alright, pickle wheel, go. Here we go.
Here we go.
Ooh, it makes me kind of dizzy.
Yeah, man, that thing spins pretty fast.
What we got?
Bastard, yes!
Alright.
Yes!
So the interesting thing about Bastard is I have seen the original series from the 90s, but I have not seen the Netflix series. So that's what we're going to watch. We're going to watch
kind of a
the
first
Netflix
watch
one.
for
Both
you
of us.
and definitely for me because I've never seen it. This is awesome, dude. That landed on that because that's really what I wanted to watch.
I was kind of hoping for Utena. For some reason, I've been in the mood to watch Utena lately, but Bastard's good. It's if you liked Berserk,
I love Berserk.
Bastard is kind of similar in a way. It's more comedy. It's not quite as brutal as Berserk.
Okay. Berserk got really dark.
It's a different style, but it's in the same kind of genre, if that makes sense. So
okay.
All right, so I guess our next Epi.1, we're going to watch the first episode of Bastard.
You bastard.
All right. We'll continue this episode after we watch.
Peace out, guys.
Welcome back to Pop Chaos. Once again, I am Jay.
And I'm the other guy, Madison.
Yeah, we're talking with Upward Infliction.
Oh my god.
Like everything's a question.
Are you serious?
I am.
What are we doing today?
So serial right now. Well, this is another Epi.1. We've got one under our belt, which was Evangelion. And thanks to the pickle wheel.
Phenomenal.
Thanks to the pickle wheel, we've got the remake of I started to say Berserk. No.
Ooh, so close though.
Yeah, the remake of Bastard. You bastard.
You bastard.
So, Bastard is an older series. I remember watching it in the 90s. I have the series on DVD. Used to collect the figures. I really enjoyed it back in the day. And I'm glad that they remade it because we only watched the first episode. I haven't seen all of the remake yet, and the first episode was really good. I was surprised.
What did you think as far as the comparison to the original? Like, from what you can remember.
Well, it's been years since I watched the original. I don't remember them introing it the same way. I could be wrong. It's been a long time. It's been over 20 years since I've seen it. It's one that I always loved, but I didn't watch over and over again, like Evangelion or Dragon Ball or something like that. I don't know why, or Armitage or Battle Angel. It wasn't one that I watched over and over again. I mean, I have a huge anime collection, so it's hard to watch them all that many times.
Right.
But I don't remember the opening being the same. I don't remember them telling the story of, the world going to hell and then being reborn. I don't remember that. It's possible. And I started to watch the original one in preparation for this, but I just, with work and everything, I really didn't have time to dig out the DVD and sit down and watch it.
If this is something that we, I liked it, so if it's something we continue with, maybe we could go back through and compare.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. That's another reason I held off, is I thought, well, it might be fun to watch the DVDs of the old one together after we watch this one and do a comparison. Now, I know most people, yourself probably included, will say that the new one, the remake, is superior because I'll even admit the animation quality is 10 to 1
animation
better.
is great.
It's
But I mean, you can't beat original animation either.
well, as we've pointed out before, or as I've said numerous times, and people are probably tired of hearing me say it, but the new one, even with the new Evangelion movies, is it's done computer. It's done with computers.
Right.
And this is no different. The original was hand drawn, so there's a stark contrast between the two. But what did you think so far? And we didn't cheat this time. We only watched one episode.
Yeah. I thought it was good. Again, it's another anime that starts out, like just diving right into it. Like you said, the opening with the world going to shit and stuff. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Well,
and that that really hooked me to like, okay, I want to watch more.
If it follows the same formula as the original, there's a lot more that happens. Like there's a lot of villains that Dark Snyder comes across and fights throughout the series that makes it a lot better than just the first episode. I mean, the first episode was great. You got the evil wizard, and Dark Snyder just plays the bitch smack down on him.
Yeah.
But the fights later on,
arrogant.
well, he stays arrogant the whole fucking time. And there's one thing in the original series he did that was such a cool move, and I'm not going to mention it in case they reuse it for the remake. There's one point in the series where you think he's actually dead, like the villain has killed him, but he does a trick, a spell that you're like, oh shit, that's creative, that's really fucking cool.
Right. Okay.
And I'm hoping that they reuse that. And I don't remember any of the characters' names, I know for shame, but once again, like Evangelion, it gets better as you watch it.
And I noticed I did get a little bit of Berserk feels with it, as far as like the kind of medieval vibe.
Well,
I thought it was really interesting too how it was like modern day before the world went to shit, and then after that, it's like they reverted back to medieval times.
Right, like a regression.
Right.
There is a little bit of similarities between Berserk and Bastard. I think a lot of people back in the day kind of compared them. People would say, hey, if you like Berserk, you'd like Bastard. If you like Bastard,
Right.
you like Berserk. That's pretty much where the similarities stop, because in Berserk, there's really not a lot of magic. As I talked to you about, as I talked to you about off of the podcast before, you start watching Berserk during the Golden Age arc, and it just seems like it's not even high fantasy. It's just like medieval fantasy.
Yeah, it's just them traveling and killing people, basically.
It's just knights versus knights and the drama that goes along with it, which is cool. But then, when Nosferatu Zod shows up, that's your first clue that...
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, that's kind of the first clue. Is like, oh shit, there's some more fantasy. There's some high fantasy going on here too. And Bastard does that from the very beginning.
Yeah, Bastard is like right off the gate. It's like, I mean, as soon as he comes in, Snyder comes in, like you said, he's throwing the smack down. He's throwing out all these spells and stuff, which was fucking awesome.
Well, now,
I enjoyed every second of it.
One thing that we haven't talked about that I really want to talk about more in these episodes is the level of voice acting. Because I know a lot of people will discredit me as soon as I say this, but I prefer watching anime dubbed. And
I do too.
I have a reason for that. My reason for that is I want to watch the art. I don't want to have to read it, take my eyes away from, because a lot of this is beautiful animation, and I don't want to have to divert my attention from what's going on.
I never understood how, I've gotten so much hate from it, like you were just saying, oh, well, you're not a real anime fan if you don't watch the subtitles. Well, let me just start off saying I'm a really fucking slow reader. So I would have to pause every 5 seconds. But I agree with you, man. Like, the old anime is great because they drew it, but the new anime, it's good too. I mean, like Chainsaw Man and stuff, it's very vibrant and stuff like that. So, you want to enjoy the slashing and the gore and, what's going on without having to actually, take the time to read and not really pay attention to what's going on in the background.
Well, as far as the old versus new anime style, I will say this. A lot of people have asked me why did I prefer older anime from the 70s through the 90s. They're like, it's not animated as well, the colors aren't as vibrant. That's true. That's very true. But the reason that I prefer older anime is the style. If I watch, and there's a lot of stylized stuff in older anime, like Record of Lodoss War. It's very anime-esque, very styled, pointy chins. Deedlit, the elf, has long ears, which you don't see in a lot of fantasy. I mean, they're like really long. But you watch things like Akira or Demon City Shinjuku or Wicked City or Vampire Hunter D, it all has a grittiness to it. And Bastard has that. Yes, this is a remake, so it's a new anime. I'm doing air quotes. Right. But it still has that old school anime art style. And you look at stuff, and I'm not going to include Chainsaw Man, because Chainsaw Man still has kind of that older aspect to it.
Yeah, I could see that.
But a lot of newer anime, to me, and I'm not going to slam anybody for liking this stuff, but a lot of it looks like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, or, and I hate to say this because I love the show, but a lot of it, like Sailor Moon, kind of that more simplistic, cartoony look.
Yeah, Naruto is a lot like that.
Naruto, yeah. Even DBZ, even Dragon Ball in certain areas still has more of that kind of, and that's an older anime. I mean, Dragon Ball came out in like 1988, 86, something like that.
It's got that kiddie cartoon feel to it almost.
It does, but all anime these days has that, and that's what I don't like about it. But getting back to the voices, what did you think of the voice cast in this?
I thought it was good. Who plays the voices in the? I thought the voices matched really well with the characters. I didn't think it was like, sometimes when you have like English dub, the characters' voices don't really match with the characters themselves. You're like, okay, well that doesn't really make sense. But as far as like Snyder and stuff, I feel like his voice was. It was very fitting for his character.
Right. Well, let's see. I'm finding the 92-93 series. I'm not finding the new series. I was going to look up real quick on IMDb and see who does the voices. But I'm not seeing it.
Netflix is being stingy with it.
I'm not finding it. Maybe I'm just looking for it wrong, but we'll do some research. We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring that up is I had very little confidence going in.
Because it's a remake?
Well, it's not that. I don't mind remakes so much as long as they're done well, and Bastard is done very well. What concerned me was it was Netflix doing it. The reason I say that,
with Netflix.
Well, the reason I say that, okay, their Castlevania series, while it's not anime, the voice work in it is phenomenal. It's great. It's really, really good. But Evangelion, on the other hand, is fucking terrible. It's awful.
Yes, so off the podcast, guys, Jay showed me the comparison between the Netflix and the original, because we watched the original on our first Epi.1.
Right.
And they changed the fucking lines. Like, it's not even the same lines.
I went through the ADV dub and the Netflix dub and went scene by scene and showed him an example of how they changed the lines and how the voice acting is totally different. And you don't even get the same feel. And, that's something we need to do. We need to pick out those exact clips that I showed you and play those on here and let people get the idea. Because I think a lot of people have never seen the ADV dub of Evangelion. Well, I say a lot.
I'm more of like, if I didn't know about them changing the lines like on Netflix and stuff, and you didn't like tell me about Evangelion, and I just went on Netflix and watched it, and then I figured out about the old, I would have been pissed about that because I'm like the type of person, I like original of stuff. I don't like remakes, and I mean, you have the fucking material already. I mean, they've already made an English version. Why would you just use that? I don't understand that.
I think that Netflix just wanted to do something different. I think they wanted to do their own thing, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's closer to the source material." Well, it's not really. It's not really. ADV did a fantastic job with their dubbing. They did a fantastic job with the voices. A lot of people disagree with me on that, but I liked the ADV cast. Spike Spencer to me is Shinji. I do not like this new person. Their voice is fine. Their voice is fine. It just doesn't fit Shinji for me.
No, it does not. And this is coming from somebody who has never really seen Evangelion, so take my word on it. It was not great.
I just didn't care for it. And I was even going to tell Madison to buy Evangelion to watch it. But, you know, I did some research and I found out that the Blu-ray version that's out now, unless you buy the special edition like I've got, it's only, to my knowledge, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong and somebody knows, put in the comments, please. Yeah. I think it's just the Netflix version. The special edition that I have has both, and I watched the ADV version.
And that's how we got on this topic.
Right.
It's because I was trying to find a way to watch it, and I have Netflix at home, obviously.
Well, speaking of which, I told you to bring me that thumb drive, and you didn't.
I know. I'm working on it.
I'll get Evangelion or whatever anime that you want to. You just got to bring me thumb drive. But
it's on the list.
There you go. But off topic, yeah, Bastard. I definitely want to watch the original again. I may do that over the Christmas weekend and get refreshed on it. We may revisit this episode. We may do a part 2 to this.
Yeah.
But I definitely
we should definitely do a comparison.
I definitely want to continue the series.
So I was gonna ask, in the episode he talks to her, he's like, yeah, we grew up together, all this stuff. How was he not aware of the kiss?
Because
I mean, he was conscious of, like, you know, what was going on as far as when he was the kid, because their minds are intertwined, obviously, right?
I don't really have an answer to that. I just know that it's two separate personas. He's the reincarnation of Dark Schneider, and I don't think that the kid obviously the kid doesn't know he's Dark Schneider, at least at first. But
Okay.
Dark Schneider, he obviously was cognitive enough to know that, you know, he is a reincarnation, which in simplistic terms, I think he just doesn't give a shit. I think Dark Schneider is an arrogant character. He's so arrogant and he's so powerful that he thinks that, you know, all his focus on is taking over the world. I don't think he really thought about being sealed up again, or maybe he just didn't know.
Okay.
But that's I can't remember if that's addressed later on. I think it might be.
It might be. Yeah, I thought it was cool too, because how him and the kid are intertwined. Because I was writing down notes as we were watching this, and you know, one of the questions I wrote was, you know, is Snyder's soul intertwined with the kids? Obviously, that was answered at the end of the episode when he arrogantly kisses her and then turns back into the kid, and then the kid's like, "What are we doing out here?"
Yeah, a lot of people in the original series found the kid annoying. He never annoyed me. I thought it was a nice juxtaposition between the evil, powerful Dark Schneider and the wimpy kid. But again, I didn't mind Shinji. Everybody hated Shinji. I never mind Shinji.
Well, I mean, you have this army that's marching at the beginning of the episode. She does the kiss. Snyder comes out, you know, is just like fucking destroying all these people. But then you get that little sense of humor in there where he's like, okay, why am I sealed up? And then, you know, switches back to the kid. Okay, where are we? So it's like it's like a very serious show. but there's so like little bits of humor in it too, and I really enjoyed that about it.
And that's the major difference between it and Berserk. Yes, Berserk had its moments of levity, but it was not. It was by no stretch a comedy. Whereas
Berserk was more of a emotional roller coaster. I'd have to say
it was, and like I said, since you like cerebral plots like that, that's why I want you to finish Evangelion, because Evangelion is very cerebral. But Bastard it's very serious, it's very dark, but there's a lot more humor in it than what somebody going into it. Like, just looking at the picture, you're thinking, oh, dark high fantasy. You know, some people might be turned off that there's some comedy in it, but I liked it.
I also have to say, the princess had some big titties.
Yeah, that's a staple. That's a staple of Bastard, and that's one reason I'm kind of surprised that people haven't pitched a fit, because I'm sorry to say, I may get shit for this, but the world has just turned into a giant pussy these days.
Oh my god, tell me about it.
You can't have any kind of fun anymore.
Let people enjoy shit, man. You know what I mean?
You know, if I want to look at big anime titties, then fine, let me look at big anime titties. You know,
yeah, what's that to you?
You know, and Berserk, god dang it, I keep saying Berserk. Bastard is full of that. Bastard is full of fan service.
Berserk had some hits in it too.
It did. But this is way more fan service than Berserk.
Right.
Was.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the figures. I gotta show you some of the figures I've got.
I bet the figures are really fucking cool.
They are. They were really fragile. I remember them being fragile, but they were really, really nice. And I wish they would remake them, because I would totally.
Did you get them from BBTS?
No, this was actually back in the probably early to mid, probably about the mid '90s.
Okay.
Believe it or not, and you may not remember this. There's GameStop. Yep. Well, there used to be two other game stores. There used to be Babbage's and Electronics Boutique. Babbage's turned into GameStop. GameStop bought them out. Electronics Boutique is still kind of around in certain places. But the thing about Babbage's and Electronics Boutique was not only did they sell video games, but they sold DVDs, anime, figures, and stuff like that. And I used to go. I had a buddy of mine was the manager at Babbage's.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And anytime something Dragon Ball would come in, like you saw that big stand-up, that pop-up of Goku from from one of the Dragon Ball games. He gave me that. He saved it because he knew I collected Dragon Ball stuff. So he would call me and be like, Jay, we got this in. You're gonna like it. I'm like, well, what is it, Joseph? And he's like, we got a Bastard figure, and I'm like, which one is it? And he told me, I'm like, I'll be right up there, man. Hold it. And I remember Brian and I took a trip to Nashville one time because I bought some Dragon Ball NES Famicom games off of eBay, and instead of having it shipped, we just met the people, and I paid for them and got them. And we went to the mall in Nashville. We went to Babbage's or Electronics Boutique, one of the two, and they had one of the big deluxe Bastard figures, and I bought it. So that was back in the day, when you could still go to places and find things out in the wild.
Right. So, I wish they still kind of did that, because that was always fun finding something like that.
They still do to an extent.
It's just not the same.
It's not the same. It's not. But anyway, getting back to the show, I threw out the idea to you off of the podcast last week before we did this, saying, and if people want to see this, comment, let us know. I'm thinking we'll do the whole season of Epi.1, watch one episode of each series that pops up, and at the end, we'll go through a list of the ones that you say, yeah, I want to keep watching that. And we'll pick one. Maybe we'll have the pickle wheel do it. Maybe we'll put a vote up and let people in the comments vote on which one we should do, and then do a whole massive review of the whole series.
Yeah, and I mean, if you guys are interested, like really interested in something we're watching, we can do a whole series on it as well.
Well, once
And
we
you guys
start,
can follow along with it.
well, once we start getting more comments and stuff, I was thinking we may not even rely on the pickle wheel anymore. We may, people say, "Hey,
Let
do
people throw out
this."
suggestions.
Exactly. Or they can throw out suggestions and we can add it to the pickle wheel and see what happens.
Yeah, because I mean, there may be some stuff out there. I mean, you're very knowledgeable, more knowledgeable in anime than what I am, but there may be some stuff out there we don't know about. Somebody will be like, "Well, if you like this, check this out."
There's a lot of new stuff that I have no idea about. I mean, anything from like probably 2005 to 2010 and onward, I don't know that much about.
Okay.
But anything from like what I consider the golden age of anime, like from the 70s through the 90s, there's a good chance I've either seen it or I know a little bit about it.
I know it's funny how you grew like the anime from the 80s. You show me this stuff, it's new to me, and then like the new stuff that's coming out now, I show it to you, and it's new to you.
Exactly, which I need to finish Demon Slayer. I really need to finish Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer's good. I'm really hooked on Jujutsu Kaisen right now. The second season's fucking dark.
There's a lot of
you like Demon Slayer too.
Well, I've seen like the first, I think, 5 episodes or something of it, but there's a lot of figures and statues I see on BBTS, and I'm like, wow, that's a cool figure, and I look at it and say, I've never heard of that series. I have no idea what this is, and I gotta research it. Like my brother loves Spy X Family.
And, I've heard good things about that show.
He's told me that it's really good and that I should watch it. I just never have. But there's all kinds of statues. There's all kinds of statues and figures on BBTS of that. And I'm thinking, yeah, I really would like to have that, but I don't want to buy something that's about something I don't know. Exactly.
Right.
So that may be one that since you haven't seen it, that may be one that we'll have to watch together and give.
Yeah, we could throw a couple of newer animes on the pickle wheel too, and then we could watch them together. That would be fun. I'd be down for that.
Or it could just be a whole new series.
Right. Yeah.
Epi.1 on stuff that one of us has seen, and then another version of it on stuff that neither one of us have seen.
Yeah. There's endless possibilities.
It just really depends on what everybody wants to see. I mean, I'm really hoping to pick up kind of the anime crowd while we do this and get people to interact with us and tell us, hey, yeah, this check this out, or whatever.
Right. I know that the last one we did on Evangelion, I know Evangelion has gotten really big again.
Evangelion was super popular in the 90s, and it kind of floundered and went out of vogue for a while. I mean, it's always been popular in Japan. Rei, like I said, kind of took over as the anime girl for a long time. But ever since, well, it's funny, and I know we're supposed to be talking about Bastard, but I'm going to tell this story. Evangelion, that's, Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, they had their anime blog. And they said for years that's one of the anime that they would never show is Evangelion. And finally they showed it. I remember they made a big to-do about it, saying they're only going to show it one time. One time.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's because it's so controversial, or it was. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember if they played it more than once. I feel like after a while they gave in and said, okay, we're going to play it more than once. But
I think I ever so slightly remember seeing something of it on Adult Swim when I was younger, because I used to watch Adult Swim a lot.
You may have seen at least advertisements for it. But,
right. I could be thinking of Toonami too, because I watched Toonami a lot as well.
Toonami was more stuff like there was Dragon Ball, and shit, what else did they show on Toonami?
I think Cowboy Bebop was on there.
Nah, Cowboy Bebop was Adult Swim.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Adult Swim. I can't remember what all they showed on Toonami. I didn't watch it that much. I know Dragon Ball was on there, and I want to say they might have shown. I remember they showed. They had a late night Toonami block one time, and they showed one or two of the Sailor Moon movies.
Yeah.
And I remember Stars back in the day. Man, we're really getting off topic, but it's fun reminiscing.
I know.
Stars used to show anime, and They showed the Street Fighter 2 V series, which if anybody out there likes Street Fighter, watch that series. It's really good.
Cowboy Bebop was on Toonami.
Was it? I don't remember it being on Toonami. I remember it being on Adult Swim.
It says Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, Sailor Moon, Voltron, Gundam Wing, Outlaw Star, Samurai Jack, Thundercats, Clone Wars, Cowboy Bebop, Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm probably not saying that right. Deadman Wonderland, Duel Masters, Ronin Warriors. Anyways.
Now I remember Gundam being on Toonami. Gundam.
Yeah, Gundam was a big one.
G Gundam, and I never liked G Gundam. I thought it was dumb.
I always watched Gundam SD. I don't think that was on Toonami.
The Super Deformed series, yeah, it was on Toonami. I remember.
It was? Okay.
Yeah. And I remember Adult Swim played 0080 War in the Pocket, which was my favorite Gundam series. And it was really short. I think it was like 6 episodes.
Yeah, I don't feel like some of the series were very long.
Oh, no. Some of the Gundam series was like 0079, and it was a long series. And then let's see, 8th MS Team was short. I think it was only like 6 episodes, maybe 12, something like that. But then the later stuff like Unicorn and all those, they're pretty long from what I remember.
Well, if we have any Gundam fans listening, and you want us to do an Epi.1 on some of these short ones, put it down in the comments because I'm down for that.
Hey, my brother loves 8th MS Team, and it was really good. But I still like War in the Pocket, 0080. It was really good. Very emotional. There's not a lot of action in it. I mean, there was some, but it was more of an emotional, like showing you the different sides of the war. Anyway, we're getting way off topic.
Back to
Bastard, you bastard. But no, I mean, I would love to go ahead and finish watching the Netflix series and do a comparison. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really want to watch it too. I mean, the first episode had me hooked, so I enjoyed it. It was really good anime for Epi.1. I'm talking like I've watched the whole series already, but I really enjoyed the first episode, so I'm down to watch more of it.
All right. Well, then we will do that at some point. But for now, I think as far as the Bastard Epi.1, that's really about all we can say at this point. I mean, normally I would blabber on about different facts and stuff. But like I said, it's been 20 years since I've seen the original, and I haven't seen the new one at all. So there's not a whole lot I can contribute at the moment.
But we do need to do a comparison on them.
We definitely need to do that.
I'm really curious about it now.
Yeah. All right. Well, that being said, we're going to go off. We have our next episode ready. The pickle wheel has already picked it. We're going to get started on that.
Already chose it.
And
yes, and guys, please subscribe, follow us on Twitter. I'm going to try to post more on Twitter from here on out. But we got the link on our page to all of our pages. So go give us a follow.
As far as Facebook and Twitter, you don't have to be into anime or anything in particular. I mean, we talk about all kinds of stuff. You can be into Star Wars or collecting or X-Men or anything. It doesn't matter. Just throw us a like and comment, and we'll comment.
Some might say it's a little chaotic.
Yeah. Ooh, I see what you did there. Yeah. But yeah, hit us up with the subscribe, some likes, comments. It helps us out. YouTube's really finicky. They want you to have all those likes and subscribes and comments. It just helps us. So if you would do that, I would be eternally grateful.
Eternally grateful.
That's right. And until next time, you bastards.
See you, bastards.
Later.